So, you bought your drone and you're expecting your footage to look like this. Instead of that, you get something looking like this.
Bruh.
So, today I'm here to fix this problem for you. Hopefully by the end of this you'll capture some good looking footage, or you're gonna fix the footage you already have. So the first thing we're gonna look at is settings on the drone so you get the best footage out of the drone straight from the fly. First thing you can do is switch your drone into log mode and then color correct your videos afterwards. Since I don't have the log mode because I'm using the DJI Mini 2, I'm gonna set up my drone as best as I can to get the best looking footage straight out of camera, and then I don't have to do a lot of post, or maybe I don't have to do it at all. On the bottom right corner you'll see there's a small icon. Right now it's set to auto. Click that and set it to pro. Trust me, you can change the ISO and the shutter speed, which is something pretty good. Keep the ISO as low as you can, like something around 100, 200, 400, and then adjust the shutter speed. Now if you want that blurriness while you're filming, that's gonna be awesome, but you need an ND filter for the drone. I personally don't have one, so I just film without it. It's not a big deal. It's not like I'm flying an FPV drone. Anyways, keep that like that, because usually what you do when you're filming auto, it can underexpose the image. Usually it focuses on the sky and it realizes it's very bright, then the whole image goes very dark and there's a lot of contrast. I don't really like how the automatic mode does that. If you want to still film in auto and not change the settings, you can switch to auto and then adjust the EV, which is right down here. If you click, there's an EV button, lets you control a bit of the light that comes in, but that's basically exposure. If you pump that number up, say like a +1, +2, it will start getting brighter, and if you pump it down, it will be more dark. But I suggest you switch to Pro, and every time you're filming, you adjust the camera settings first. Second thing we can adjust here, besides the ISO and the shutter speed, is a very important thing, and that's the white balance. We have these settings here. When we click on them, you can switch between these two cards. And if you see right here, there are the SD card settings, the resolution and the FPS, but up here there's the white balance. Now I usually like to keep that number above 6,000 and something below 8,000. So usually I'll go for like 6,800, 6,500, maybe sometimes even 7,200 or 100. So play around with that, and usually I like to make my videos look a bit more warm. That's all the settings I would recommend for you to keep on the drone. Besides that is practicing the thumbs, sticks, how you move your drone with your controller. So try to be more smooth, fly your drone around a certain dot. Practice that movement, make it like smooth, not jittery. Second tip is pretty obvious, but if you have a need to say it anyways, if you're filming with your drone, try to film in good conditions. What I mean by this is when there's like good lighting, so maybe like sunsets, sunrises. Don't film during like 2 p.m. or something when the sun is literally above you and then there's no shadow, all the light is just falling down there. If you can, film that shot later. The angle of the sun is from the sides and it's hitting. It just gives nice shadows, nice kind of orangey feel, the golden hour, which is gonna give you the best results of the footage. And then we're gonna go over the third step, and that is color correction. I'm just gonna show you quick what I like to usually do. You can always play around. Color correction is all about like freedom and expressing your own kind of settings. So what works for me might not work for you, and vice versa. If you've already filmed your footage and you want to fix it, this is the way. Now, this is originally how it looks, and I just went ahead and did some bit of editing here. As we can see, the things I play with are hue versus hue, so this is basically how your picture is gonna look. What I usually do is I go ahead and I put like dots between these parts, so I separate the blue so I can control the sky, as you can see easily, and I pump it up a bit so it gets this nice kind of light blue effect. For the oranges and yellows here, and for the greens, you can maybe like put the greens down, it will make them more green, and pop the yellows and the oranges. If you move this a bit here, you can get a bit of more control over that. I usually like them a bit around like orangey kind of red, like with these greens. For this scene, I think this would look better, and this is how you achieve this effect. Obviously you can also pump these up. This is the hue versus saturation, so basically you're pumping up the saturation for the colors. You can maybe just pump that up a bit. Other thing you can do is control the luma here, which are basically how lit the colors are, so I can control how lit the orange is, how lit the green is. I went ahead and pumped it up a bit. and I didn't touch all the other things. You can also add a bit of red here if you want that, so it looks a bit nicer. And what I also did is I pumped up the temperature here because it was kind of cold without it. Orange and teal basically kind of looking. This is the original shot. After editing we get this. The second shot, and it didn't need a lot of correcting. It looks pretty nice straight out of the box, but as you can see, a bit more like light bluish. What I did it is I went to the curves, and if we look at the hues versus hue here, I pumped up the sky here, the color, so it can be a bit more light blue. The oranges a bit, so these houses turn out orangey, and I did pump up the red here, pumped up the saturation for the blues, the other saturations down, the oranges for the houses don't become too orangey. But this shot is interesting. The original shot looked like this, and changed these to green, a bit more orangey because it was sunset, and I did tweak that, and I added a lot more shadows, as we can see here. We can achieve that by, first of all, we can control the oranges here, put them down here, it's gonna be green. If you want more kind of an orange look, you can do that by pumping it up, and also maybe like acquire the orangey kind of look, and then pump the greens down so you get these leaves that are green. And that'll be it for today, guys. Those are my 3 ways on how you can improve your drone clips. Go out and record some awesome footage and create some cool art with it, and I'll see you in the next one as always.